boys and girls. I'm so excited to tell you about today's story. This one comes with a few miraculous things to talk about, along with a boat, a meal, and of course, a lesson to walk away with. This one starts out on a beautiful sunny day, and Jesus and his disciples are crossing the Sea of Galilee on a boat. Speaking of which, here he is now trying to get a little shut-eye. Jesus had been healing sick people, and many more people of all ages came to see him again that day. He was looking for rest and wanted to stay on the boat, but so many began gathering. Maybe they could hear more of Jesus' stories or see him show God's power through another miracle. When Jesus saw the large crowd gathering, he asked one of his disciples and friend, Philip, "Where do you think we can get enough food to feed all these people?"
That's a lot of people. I could work for 6 months and still not be able to feed those people.
The disciples were puzzled, and they didn't know why Jesus wanted to feed these people in the first place, but they knew they should trust Jesus. Then Andrew, another one of Jesus' disciples, pointed to a young boy and said,
"Hey, the kid over there's got some bread and fish. Certainly not enough to feed 5,000, but it's certainly something."
The young boy looked nervous, and he said in a small voice, "Jesus, if it'll help, please take this." Jesus smiled and took the food. Then he asked his disciples to have all the people sit down. "Have everyone sit down, and they will be fed." No one knew what was about to happen. Jesus began to speak and give thanks for the bread and the fish, and then the food began to be passed around, and somehow all 5,000 people managed to eat their fill. No one was left hungry. And then Jesus said, "Let us gather up the leftovers." The disciples didn't believe there'd be any left over after having fed 5,000 people, but as they gathered, there ended up being enough leftover pieces of bread to fill 12 large baskets. More loaves and fish left over than one had been started with that day. They shook their heads in disbelief as they struggled to pick up the baskets with heavy food. The people all around began to see the full baskets of leftovers and began to understand that something amazing, something miraculous had happened. Jesus had pulled off another miracle. And Jesus smiled as he overheard the people say, "God must have sent Jesus to help us." It was a day that boy, the disciples, and the 5,000 that were gathered there, that they would never forget. You see, everyone, sometimes it feels like we don't have much to offer. And sometimes it feels like we don't have anything to offer at all. But God takes the little things that we perceive and turns them into something so much bigger. Maybe it's just a little bit of bread, a little bit of fish, and a little bit of faith in God to pull off something huge. And that's all the time we have for today, and I can't wait to tell you the next story. Here, I'm not gonna say stuff. Ugly.